Hey everybody, it's Tom again. Um, well, today I'm gonna talk about some old times and some old memories. Got a little list here, a few little things that happened during the years that was kind of cool. Uh, this first one, my brother-in-law had a car lot years ago. He had this car lot for like 30 years, and his son used to sell cars for him there. His name's Troy. And they got an RX-7 in one day, and he was on the front row. It's a nice car. And I was into the Chevelle scene and stuff in those days, and I was all big block Chevy. And wasn't really into the Ricer thing. Never really thought about Ricer cars. And Troy said to go out there and hop in that RX-7. He's go get the keys. So that was where the nightmare started on that car. That car was like the fastest freaking little car I ever seen, and after that I never viewed rotary motors in the same light. Let's just say that. All right, on this next one. Here's an old story about me and my Chevelle. I used to go street racing down Pacheco Road a lot in Bakersfield, and I took my Chevelle out, and Troy again, my wife's nephew, he had a 66 SS Chevelle. We went out there and went street racing, but on the way home, see, I didn't know where, I had just moved to Bakersfield, and I didn't know my way home or anything. But heading back, there was an S-turn. When we're both doing like 90 miles an hour, come up on this 35-mile-an-hour S-turn. Well, so nothing I can do is try to sling it sideways and try to make it through. And hard on the brake, started coming in, and back tire on the yeah, it would be the driver's side because I'm making a right-hand turn. It came off the bead, so I had to straighten it back out, and then there's a ditch, so I fly into a cotton field. My wife's nephew's sitting there, and on the passenger side, he didn't even try to open the door or anything. He just rolled the window and bailed out after it stopped. There was dust flying everywhere, and I bent the frame, some tie rods, and drag link and a few things on the Chevelle. That was crazy. Come home, dust in my hair. We had to pull the Chevelle up out of that ditch and put the spare on to limp it home, but that was a crazy night. All right, well, here's another one with Troy again. He bought this Z28, and it's a pretty sharp car. He went ahead and had a Preacher Warren stripe job done on it. Probably had 7 to 9 colors on it. Well, we lived at the coast, and he lived in Bakersfield. Well, we're going from the coast to Bakersfield, and we stop in Kuyama at a regular P stop at a little gas station there, about halfway between Bakersfield and the coast over there, Santa Maria town. But, well, we see this Z28 sitting there. It's striped up one side and down the other, and my wife said, "Oh my God, who would own that?" I said, "You know who'd own that? Troy would own that." Well, I hopped out of the car, went in to go pee. He was in the bathroom. For freaking Troy, man. Oh shit, knocking the camera over. It was so funny. But that was another one. And here's another deal on the Preacher Warren stripe jobs. Troy got this freaking van. You got a custom van conversion, really sharp. Paint job was jacked. So his dad paints the van, and he takes it to Preacher Warren's shop to get it striped. Well, about a week, 9 days goes by, and we didn't hear shit from Preacher Warren. So me and Troy goes down there. He says, "Hop in the car." So we hopped down in there, went to see Preacher Warren. And we walk in the shop, the van side door is wide open, preacher Warren's about half passed out laying down in there, and he looks up at us and seen Troy, and he goes, "Hey Troy, I'm gonna have about one more beer and I'm gonna strike this thing." And then automatically Troy goes, "Well, I guess we better leave. I don't even want to see this." And that was that. But when the van came back, sharp as hell. Oh, it's sharp. Okay. And, well, here's another little Troy story I have for you here again. They got this old cop car in as a trade-in. Well, he comes over to my house one night, and he's using the spotlight coming through the window of the house. And he's spotlighting me and shit. Hell, we thought it was the damn cops. And then finally he comes back through and he goes, "Oh, I scared the shit out of you, didn't I?" He goes, "Hell, let's go to the street races." So we went ahead and took that old cop car to the street races. And on the way out there and stuff, we were going over tumbleweeds, doing like 70-mile-an-hour power slides, knocking tumbleweeds out and stuff. We finally knocked the grill completely out of it. And when we got home, there was only like one hubcap left on it. And well, we popped the tire on it that night, and there was no jack, but the spare had air in it. So the only thing we could do, we thought of, was there's a power pole there with one of them guy wires coming down. Well, we went ahead and loosened all the lug nuts of it and backed it up onto that power line cable until the tire come off, and that pole was bending. I'm telling you, it was bending. And whipped that freaking tire off, got the other spare on there and the lugs on it, and got out of there before the cops come. But that, my God, that night, I'll never forget that night. All right. Yeah, it was called the cotton car after that one. It was like right by a cotton field. But here we go. This is an old story on a GTO I got. Well, I bought this 69 GTO, had a rod out of it for 250 bucks. And looked all around junkyard and stuff, couldn't find a used 400. So it just sat at the house for a while. And then one of my friends wrecked a 1970 SS Camaro. So I went ahead and bought it off of him for $250. It was smashed completely where it was like non-repairable. So went and pulled that motor and tranny out and stuck it in the GTO. Now, mind you, this is back in 1974 where nobody was doing motor swaps back then. And what I ended up doing was putting, it had Pontiac big block mounts on the frame. So the Chevelle motor, that Camaro motor wouldn't fit in there. Motor mounts wouldn't work. So I went ahead to the junkyard and we found a Monte Carlo and got the bottom mounts off that and put those in there. And instead of just like, we were just trying them on and set it down on the frame, shit lined right back up. So instead of just sticking the bolts in there and lifting the motor back up, I just had one of my pipeline welder friends come by and he welded those babies in. It was like that from then on. And it was a LT1 350 4-speed, and even the lock on the steering wheel even worked. So when you went ahead and locked it into reverse, it would lock everything, and the transmission was locked in gear. Even now, all that worked. That was pretty cool. And I ended up painting it blue, just like my 70s Chevelle. And but I took it to Sonic one night. So we pull up there and we're all backed in there with all the other cars. And I popped my hood, and the Pontiac guys, I got a ration of shit that night. Let's just say that. Okay, here we go. The Chiquita Banana Chevelle. My wife used to own a restaurant down there in Bakersfield, down by the municipal airport, the small airport. And we'd drive down there to go to work and stuff, and she spotted a 66 Chevelle in the junkyard right by where the restaurant is. So I go down there and check it out, and this car it was pretty rough, to say the least. The interior was completely thrashed. It only ran on 7 cylinders. The paint job was just completely bad. But I went ahead and bought the car anyway. My wife's brother had a brand new 283. Was bored, I think 60. Brand new though. Everything was new in it. I bought that motor off of it. He stuck it in the car, and we ended up painting it Fireball red. And I went to swap meet and got some Corvette rallies and put on it. It ended up being a pretty cool car. My kids hated it because I made them sand it. But there it is there. They'll never forget that Chevelle. Okay, and then, oh, here we go. I used to work at Tilton Engineering, and one of the engineers there was named Rob McMack, and he has a Rob MC Performance now, but back then he had this little Vega GT, and it had a LT1 stroker motor in it with angle plug heads on it, tunnel ram, and it was running a Saginaw 4-speed in it. Well, he seen this article in Hot Rod magazine on a clutch automatic, so he went ahead and built that clutch automatic, and they made the flywheel at Tilton, and he made a stand and was running it, I think with the I think it was a Jaguar pressure plate, but he made the floater and the stands and everything, and it was a two disc clutch, and then they mated that to that, cut the bell housing off the automatic, and then put a scatter shield on it, and did that deal. But here's the story. When we went ahead and took the Vega to tech inspection, the guy looks over at the other guy in tech inspection. He goes, "Am I supposed to classify this as automatic or 4-speed?" He goes, "It's automatic, but it's got a clutch for sure." And he's pointing this out to the other guy, and it was crazy. And then he looks at the shock tower deals on it, and Rob had welded a bar across through the center of the tunnel ram, so the shock tires wouldn't bend up when you did a wheelie. So and then he had it measured where you could keep it at, you know, at the same length in the front end, and everything still be in alignment. So there was like a bolt alignment on the end and a measurement to make all that work. But then that tech guy, he looks at Rob and he goes, "Do you drive this car?" And he goes, "Just barely." All right, here I am with a camera again. All right, but that story was crazy. All right, okay, here's my final one for today. Here's another one from the car lot. Hezzy, he owned the car lot, and he had this old International Scout sitting on the lot for a while. It's probably there a month or so, maybe longer than a month, and it just wouldn't sell. It's kind of ratty looking. Inside was all right, but it just looked old and ratty on the outside. So one day he just pulled it off the lot and said, "I'm just gonna paint that thing." He goes, "Nobody's gonna buy it looking like that." So we get it all sanded and shit, and I helped Doris freaking tape that thing off and stuff and get it ready to spray. Well, he didn't have any colors in there except for red. So, and there wasn't enough of the red to cover the whole thing. So he got like 3 different cans of red, mixed them together, and sprayed this thing. Well, I didn't pay any attention to it until it was time to come out and take the paper off of it. So they pulled it around to pull the paper off. I was going to help pull the paper off. This International, it looked like lipstick. I'll guarantee it. It looked freaking, it was the brightest thing you ever seen. And well, it's out on the lot like 3 days and sold. Well, that's the end of my stories for today, everybody. Thanks for watching. Share, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one. And God bless everybody who prayed for my wife and everything. That's just really cool. We'll see you on the next one, everybody. Thanks.